What's up, everybody? Swish here, coming to you from Pennsylvania, out in the woods, and just want to do a quick little video, more of a talking. Well, I always talk in my videos, but yesterday I did some training with Jared from 2 Alpha Solutions. If you haven't gone to his YouTube channel yet, you should go check it out. I'll put a link in the description box to him. He's a good dude. Did the SEER challenge with him. He was one of the cadre out there, so came out to hang out with him for the weekend, and look for that video of the training we did coming soon. And just want to talk about some of the things that I did, some of the gear, you know. But one particular thing I wanted to talk about was this. You'll notice a very bare weapon. I only use iron sights. I don't have any optics or anything like that. I wanted to talk about why I don't use any optics, because I posted some pictures on Instagram and someone said, "Oh, what optic are you using?" I said, "I don't use any optics." And I talked about on my last video on what works for you. Use what works for you. When I first came in the Army, back in the day, prior to 9/11, all we used were iron sights. That was it. That's all I trained on, and shot just fine with that for years. And then everything started going to optics. And this video isn't me being against optics. I'm not against optics or using optics. I've just found that I've always been more effective with iron sights versus optics. I know everyone can say, well, you should just train better on your optics. And like I said, it's about what works for me. Why reinvent the wheel? Why fix what isn't broken? I believe I can be just as effective with iron sights out in the woods and in an urban environment. If I'm clearing a room, I don't believe I need optics, depending on the size of the room. Most rooms are pretty small. I should just be able to look over the edge of the barrel and be able to make an effective shot, because it's not about taking that much aim if I'm in a room. If I'm out here in the woods or in the distance, well, I have my iron sights. So that's what I use, and that's what I love using. So that's why I stick with it, and I'll continue to stick with it. And like I said, I'm not against optics. If you're out there and you like optics, you like the EOTechs and the ACOGs and all the other things out there, man, go ahead and use them. It's all about, use what works for you. So, but this is what works for me, and this is what I like, and I'll continue to go ahead and use them. And a lot of my gear that I use is very old school. I'll back up here. The LCE mixed with the Condor battle belt. Kind of mixing a little new with the old, but I have old BDUs on, old black leather jungle boots on, and again, came in. It's what I used. It's what I loved. I'm not against new gear. I'll try it out, but at the end of the day, old but not obsolete, I guess. So it just works for me. That's what I enjoy using. I shoot just fine, and having a good time with what I have. It's what I trained on for years. So why change anything? So I guess let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys think why I should upgrade to an optic, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to hear different opinions and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I don't know. I just always didn't shoot very well with optics. I always shot effectively, but I just always was better with iron sights. And another great thing about iron sights is they don't lose their zero like other optics do. Especially if you're moving through thick brush, or you bang your rifle up against something. A lot of the EOTechs and the M68 CCO would lose its zero, and so then it would be completely ineffective. A lot of them have batteries. You got to change the batteries. Iron sights, I don't have to change the batteries. on them. You know, the ACOG is okay. I had that in Afghanistan, and you know, it was great, but for, you know, close quarters it really wasn't all that great. um, you know, I don't know, it wasn't my thing. You know, this is what works for me. You know, the old school gear is what works for me. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is body armor. I'm out in the woods here, and I don't. In the video you'll see me and Jared, and I don't have body armor on. I do have a plate carrier, but again, this is just my opinion. I don't feel in a wooded environment. I personally don't believe body armor is needed if you're patrolling through the woods or in a wooded environment. I think it makes you less effective personally, depending on how thick the brush is. You know, if you have a big old plate here and you're trying to move through and you got to bend and do all these things, it does restrict your movement. Now again, I'm not against body armor. If I was in an urban environment, I would definitely wear my plate carrier. So I have kind of two different kits, one for urban and one for the woods. And the woods, I would not take a plate carrier with me or any kind of body armor, because there's lots of trees, lots of ground, things that can protect me in a firefight. Another thing about being in the woods, and again, just expressing my opinion because I know people might blow up. One issue that I had when I was in Afghanistan, every firefight I was in, I found myself in the prone in the mountains. And I had all my gear here on my front, all my ammo here. And it made changing magazines in the prone, it sucked. You know, I had to kind of roll over and grab one because I was laying on my stomach shooting. So that's why I kind of have my gear back here, you know, because in the prone, it's much easier to reach back and grab a mag and change it. And in the woods, you know, you'll most likely be in the prone, you know, in a fight, unless you're up moving. And when you're moving, you're not changing mags too much in the wood line. But that's just what worked for me. That's how I trained at basic training. I came in pre 9/11. Old school Alice Pack, old school LCE. That's what I wore. Old school Kevlar, you know, before the ACH and stuff came out. Did just fine with it. And, you know, I kind of miss that version of the military. When Afghanistan and Iraq kicked off, that all shifted. It was a lot of stand-up fighting, a lot of fighting from the knee in an urban environment, which is fine. You know, it's what you got to do. And I feel like we lost the ability to be able to fight in the woods or in a environment like this. You know, I think as a soldier, you should be well-rounded, or as a Minuteman, I'm not in the military anymore. You should be well-rounded, fighting in the woods, fighting in an urban environment. Now, someone might say, well, what happens if you're in the woods and you happen to be stumbled upon an urban environment? Are you going to switch to a plate carrier? Then you need a plate carrier. Well, no. You don't really stumble into an urban environment from the woods. You know, cities usually aren't surrounded by woods, you know. And that's all about doing reconnaissance prior to, you know, what environment are you going to be in, you know, if you can do that, if you can get intelligence prior to when you're going out doing what you're doing. So if that were to happen, if I was in the woods and I stumbled onto a town, you know, coming out of the woods, and I didn't have a plate carrier, oh well, I would improvise, you know. That's just what I would do. You know, you can what if it all day long. And I see that in the YouTube channel, in the YouTube arena. Somebody does something or dresses a certain way and everyone goes, well, what if this happened? My response to that is this: hey, what if alien space monkeys attack? You know, what are you gonna do? You know, how are you gonna be prepared for that? You could what if the scenario all day long. That's where improvisation comes in, you know. Uh, so improvise. That's what I do. I'd improvise. This is what I prefer. This is what works for me. You know, oh, don't you want to protect yourself if you get shot with body armor? Well, again, plenty of trees here to get behind. That tree can stop a bullet. I got some high ground here. Dirt stops bullets. It's fine. I'll improvise. I'll figure out a way. If you're that worried about your life in an environment where you're getting shot at, I think it's safe to say that you're in the wrong business. Not saying that you shouldn't try to stay alive in combat, but at some point you got to say, well, I'm risking my life doing what I'm doing. I should accept the fact that my life might end in this situation, So you might need to tap into some divine intervention if you're that worried about staying alive. And again, that's just my opinion, and I'll leave it at that. But anyway, just wanted to give a short video on why I using iron sights and why I don't use body armor a whole lot in the woods, and why I use old school BDUs. Again, it's just what I came in with. It's what I like. If you want to wear multicams, I think multicam's good. If you want to wear tiger stripes, man, those things are really cool too. Looking at you, Brent. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and hope to see you all in the next video. Don't know when it's going to be, and look for the video me and Jared did for our reconnaissance video. We haven't come up with the title of it yet, but it's going to be pretty badass, I think. So we had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. And until then, just get outside and have a great time, guys. Thanks.